That's all we do here. All we do is try and call baits on this channel, and we're always wrong. We are ahead in health. Here comes the ominous win. No boost, please. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like Matteo Valentini, thank you for the support. In today's video, we're taking a look at some more Master League Classic battles, this time featuring another team which I feel can help trainers reach Legend Rank in these final weeks of the season. This team consists of a Melmetal lead, Groudon with Dragon Tail operating as a safe switch, and Giratina Origin in the back. So this is a very balanced team overall. It is going to have some weaknesses that cross over between the three Pokemon. However, in general, I think there is some very solid coverage for the majority of the meta, and there isn't any one particular Pokemon which threatens to sweep the entire team. So for this video, we will be taking a look at 2 sets worth of battles, sort of get an idea of how this team works, take a look at some difficult matchups, some of the more winnable matchups, and in a nutshell, what you could expect from this team when using it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. It really helps the channel grow. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so let's jump into these battles right here. You can see the 3 Pokemon on the screen. We did choose to lead Melmetal. You can make the argument to lead Groudon as well, also a very solid lead, as well as Giratina Origin. All 3 of them have play in the lead. However, I did want to utilize Groudon with Dragon Tail as a safe switch, just because it sort of can catch opponents off guard sometimes. So here, a very positive in Dialga, opponent swaps out into the Melmetal, so I decided to throw the superpower before dipping out, either get a shield or get this Melmetal very low, and then we come in with the Groudon. So Groudon with Dragon Tail does have a slightly worse match against the Melmetal, but it's still very dominant, of course. And you can see superpowers coming through. At this point, because we're taking so much damage from these superpowers, I know we don't have to shield anything, and I'm going to try and commit to the complete farm down here with the Dragon Tail, which we are able to do. So that puts us at a lot of energy here, and I decided to actually throw blindly here. Probably makes more sense to wait, but I throw the Fire Punch blindly here, expecting the Dialga maybe. They end up no shielding that, which is a huge blow for us, but fortunately we are able to get to this Earthquake here. So this is very nice, but likely going to see a shield come up, which isn't too great. So we get a advantage out of this, but we have a Giratina Origin onto Giratina Origin. Thankfully, we do have the very positive matchup in Melmetal against that Dialga here. And at this point, I decided to make a big call and call the Omnis Wind bait, which happens to be. So sometimes you just gotta gamble, and this time it paid off for us. Very risky gamble and probably not recommended. Probably better to just shield there, take the safe route, but we like to gamble on this channel. Omnis Wind coming through. This time we are going to shield, and they swap out into the Dialga. So very good matchup here for the Melmetal. Of course, I am building up to the superpowers. Gonna throw the first one here. Would suck to throw Rock Slide and they don't shield, so very nice to get that off. A little bit of lag right there, so they get a free Dragon Breath through, at least one. Might have got more that we didn't see, but never like to see that. We do get the second shield. Definitely could have went for the Rock Slide bait there, but it's going to cost more energy. And at this point, they could just get KO'd by the superpowers. Them throwing Draco Meteor there is a huge break for us, because that means we can overfarm a little bit more before they get to the potential Iron Head. So going to go for the superpower once again right here. That's going to take out the Dialga, and they're going to come back in with the Giratina. So notice I swapped out there with the Rock Slide first. I wanted the Rock Slide to be ready because we can win CMP tie against the Giratina if it came down to that. But fortunately, we take it out there with the Giratina Origin. So going to take that game. The Avatar did not even feel like celebrating, because that was a pretty hard counter team for the most part, and it still came very close. So Avatar was not too impressed with that performance by us. But let's move into the next battle. We got Mel into a Mewtwo. Mewtwo's a pretty tricky lead here. Groudon is a great answer, but Melmetal here can win in the 2 shields. So going to go for the Rock Slide. And then I was going to try and catch the Focus Blast onto the Giratina here. So I counted to 9. Here's the Focus Blast. We catch a Shadow Ball somehow. So it's like the worst case scenario there. Build up to the Focus Blast and get hit by the super effective Shadow Ball. But thankfully for us, the opponent insta-swapped into Togekiss. And what that means is that the Melmetal now is going to be able to absolutely go to town on this Togekiss right here. Wanted to throw before they got to the Flamethrower. Actually seemed like it was a bit too early for Flamethrower, so I didn't actually shield there, and it ended up being an Ancient Power, so good call there. Trying to undercharge here to get a little bit more farm on the Togekiss. And we get about 3 more Thunder Shocks in. The Mewtwo comes back in. We are at 2 Rock Slides. I believe they're like 1 short of the next Side Strike. So going for the Rock Slider here, they are going to shield that. I'm going to get off this second move here and then look to instant swap into the Groudon and try to snipe it. And they swap out into Dialga. At this point, the opponent doesn't want the smoke, so they're going to back out of that matchup. 2 shields with Groudon against Dialga with Melmetal still in the back. Pretty solid position to find themselves in. We take that game. Hopping into the next battle, this is one of the worst leads you could see here in the form of a Groudon. It is running Dragon Tail, so I swap out into our own Groudon. We get met by a Origin here. So at this point, when they bring in Giratina Origin into a Dragon Tail Groudon, it tells me that they probably have the same team, just in a different order. So expecting a potential Melmetal in the back. And I'm going for the bait here with the Fire Punch, hoping to get the shield, which we do. But we still need an Earthquake to KO here. So Fire Punch isn't going to be enough. They'll probably let this go through, and it should be CMP tie. So they're probably at a move right here. I'm going to decide to no shield this, hopefully calling the bait. But it's a Shadow Ball. And part of my reasoning there too is that I can't really come in with my own Giratina against their Dragon Tail Groudon. So without a shield, that is, because Dragon Tail Groudon actually has a very good match against Giratina. So it kind of was important to preserve the shield there and just let the Groudon go down there. And you can see we come with the Shadow Ball. At this point, they did build up to the Earthquake, so I'm going to call the bait, and it is not coming with the Melmetal. And it's their own Melmetal in the back, and this game is basically over because even if I were to win this Melmetal matchup, we have to debuff ourselves. We don't have a second Pokemon to reset our debuff, whereas the opponent still does have the option to swap out and reset their debuff. So there was no coming out of that. I didn't want the smoke, and I backed out of the match. We got Melmetal into a Ho-Oh lead right here. So decent matchup. It's could go either way. Opponent swaps out into Mewtwo, so I'm going to throw the Rock Slide here. Could have probably saved this, but I decided to throw the Rock Slide and swap out into the Giratina. I'm okay with this play too. You could also bank the Rock Slide and just swap into Giratina as well. Either one works, but by throwing the Rock Slide, I believe we could actually get here without the Mewtwo reaching a second move, provided they don't shield this Omnis Wind right here. So let's see how the opponent decides to play it out. They let that go down, and we get the boost. So I really don't think the boost was necessary in this match, so you kind of get it when you don't need it, and you don't get it when you do need it, but it's going to mean that we could get to 2 moves here at least, so we definitely, oh actually we're not even going to get to the second move. So if anything, it benefited the opponent there by getting more farm, but yeah, it is what it is. Pretty meaningless boost. Draco Meteor comes through and the opponent swaps out into the Ho-Oh, so I'm going to throw the Rock Slide here, and this is one situation where having Dragon Tail and Groudon is very nice, because see, we're up 2 shields here, and Dragon Tail absolutely chunks away still at the Ho-Oh, whereas if we had Mud Shot, it wouldn't be doing anything. So I think for the purpose of a safe switch, Groudon with Dragon Tail performs really well, and I actually really do like running Dragon Tail as a safe switch. But in the lead, depending on team comp too, I do like Mud Shot. Both movesets have play. Here we're going to shield the Brave Bird and farm down, and just look to get to a Fire Punch at this point. And that should put it in the range of getting farmed down by 1 Dragon Tail, or potentially getting to a superpower on the Melmetal. Fortunate enough to take that game right there. And we are currently 3-1 headed into the 5th battle of this first set. Let's see if we can close out the 4-1 right here. We have a Melmetal into a Garchomp, so not a good lead at all for Melmetal right here. We're going to swap out into the Groudon. Groudon with Dragon Tail is a very nice matchup here against the Garchomp. Opponent is staying in, which I wasn't expecting. You can see these Dragon Tails are absolutely chunking away at the Garchomp. Gonna go for the Fire Punch bait right here, and it does get the shield. Now, at this point, it's you know me, I like to call baits all the time. Again, it's not a bait, so we get taken out there. A bit unfortunate now. I can't really come in with the Melmetal at this point, so I decided to just come with Giratina. Hopefully farm down before they get another move, but I know we're gonna take a lot of Dragon Tail damage right here, as you see. But we were able to farm down, coming out with a lot of energy while still having a shield advantage. So Dialga comes in here, but with this big of a shield advantage, we actually probably can get to 2 Shadow Balls here. So I'm going to throw the first one, then swap out into the Melmetal, and it's a Metagross in the back. So going to build up here to the superpower. We have 2 shields still, and I decided to just go for the superpower right away. There are a couple different ways you play this match, I guess, but I decided to go for the superpower first. At this point, the second superpower would be doing the most damage, so maybe they'll shield, and they do. We actually baited with the Rock Slide, which is really nice. And this is probably going to be Meteor Mash. I think Meteor Mash probably won't KO from this range, even with the debuff, but I didn't want to take the risk there with this much health still on the Melmetal. We're in a pretty good spot, so I go for the superpower once again. You can see it is doing some nice damage, and our switch timer is almost up here, so probably going to shield this up, preserve the Melmetal, and then look to swap out into the Giratina, hopefully farm down this Metagross, but they swap out. We get to the Shadow Ball before the Dialga gets to a move though, which is huge. This is going to be enough to take out the Dialga right here. And we're going to farm down here with the Giratina Origin, take that win. And we do manage to pull off a 4-1 in this first set using this team. Very strong team, very impressed by the performance here. So I decided to run with it for another set. Let's see how those battles go in set number 2. So let's jump into the second set of battles right here, and I did restart my game. A quick reminder to always restart your game in between battles because the game crashes are out of control right now with Niantic. We got Melmetal into Giratina, pretty bad lead here, so I swap out into the Dragon Tail Groudon, and the opponent comes in with a Dialga. So when the opponent brings Dialga into Groudon here, I'm assuming they probably don't have a Togekiss, probably don't have a Kyogre, although they definitely don't have Kyogre. But this team Giratina, Dialga usually means either like Kyogre or a Togekiss in the back, so when they don't bring those Pokemon in here and they come with Dialga, it made me think they probably have either a Melmetal or something like a Giratina Origin maybe. So we actually do end up taking Switch there, which is pretty nice because now we could align our Giratina Origin onto their Giratina Altered. We get taken out here. I want to actually let the Groudon go down here because I want to maintain the alignment, even though we are down a shield, and we come in with the Giratina Origin. So at this point, opponent swaps out, very nice catch on their part onto the Togekiss here. And I'm actually not sure why the opponent didn't come in with Togekiss against the Groudon, because now at this point we have Melmetal onto Togekiss. I guess either way they were going to have a pretty rough match. Actually no, because with Togekiss they should have probably been able to win Switch Advantage a lot easier than they were with Dialga. They actually gave up Switch Advantage, so coming to Togekiss there probably was the play. The opponent still has 2 shields as you could see, but we have a pretty healthy Melmetal here. We still have a pretty healthy Giratina Origin as well, so all we want to do here, get this Giratina down as low as possible, try and get those shields out of it with the Rock Slides right here, and we should be okay to win this game even though we are down 2 shields, in large part because we were able to win Switch Advantage there. I actually bank the Rock Slide before swapping out because at this point I figure I get the last shield with the Giratina Origin while also doing enough Shadow Claw damage to put it in Rock Slide range, and by having that Rock Slide stored, we are guaranteed to win CMP against Giratina Altered here with a higher attack stat. So at this point the game's pretty much over as long as we can put it in Rock Slide range, and right here that should be Rock Slide range. You can see even if they had moved right here, we are going to win CMP tie. Rock Slide comes through and we are going to be able to take that game off to a 1-0 start in set number 2. Let's hop into the next battle. We got C Draco. So are we going to see some Draco Meteors in this battle? A pretty bad lead right here in the form of Kyogre. And this is a bad lead, but it's not like the worst lead. It is still winnable for Melmetal. As long as you have shields, there are some potential win conditions here. So I'm going to let the first Surf go through. And then I'm going to build up to the Rock Slide. And at this point, I was looking to stay in here and win this match against the Kyogre, go into the 2 shields, whatever. But they actually swap out to Sylveon. At this point, I realized the game was over, because there is no way you ever swap a Charm user into Melmetal unless you're running an ABB team with double Charm. And because this is my only counter for Charm, losing it right now means the game is absolutely over. So Groudon comes in here. I am able to get to the Fire Punch before they get to a charge move, but it's really not going to matter because they're going to be able to come in here with the Kyogre. They still have 2 shields. They are pretty low on the Kyogre, but they're still doing a lot more damage than we are. We're going to shield this up because at this point I feel like I kind of need the Groudon damage onto the Togekiss, but the game is looking really bad at this point. So the one thing I took out of this match right here was that maybe against Kyogre it doesn't make sense to stay in, and I probably have to swap out into the Giratina Origin at some point. So you can see Togekiss in the back. It is double Charm as predicted, and there's basically no play here. Once we let the Melmetal take all that damage from the Kyogre, there was no play here. Even when they switched a Charmer into the Melmetal, it was game over. So nicely done by the opponent here. Pretty tough team comp here. It's not a very popular team comp in Master League. You do see it every now and then, but double Charm isn't the most common thing in Master League. Definitely a lot more common in the Great League and even Ultra League. But right here, there's nothing we could do. I'm just going to back out. I don't want the smoke from that Charm team, so just leave the match. Let's hop into the next battle. And I believe we actually had back-to-back Kyogres here. Yeah, so we do see another Kyogre right here. And I decided to play it differently this time. What I decided to do here actually was, we do outpace it to the first move, So I'm counting the waterfalls here. I'm going to get to the rock slide. And then I'm going to look to swap out and actually catch the surf onto the Giratina. So I'm going to let one more waterfall come through and swap out into Giratina. This is going to be a surf, so a very nice catch here. You love to see it. You hate to see that. Not what you like to see after making a great catch like that. So Yveltal comes in. Going to take that Dark Pulse. We are going to get the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does still hurt despite being resisted because Yveltal is kind of glassy, as you can see. So it still does some decent damage right here. And I don't want to come with Melmetal because I don't want to have to shield up a potential Focus Blast, even though Groudon technically would have to shield it up too, but I figured it's easier to farm down here with Dragon Tail. I could shield once and then leave this matchup with a bunch of energy. And yes, that energy is going to go towards a Kyogre, but we need to get rid of that Kyogre regardless. So Dark Pulse comes through. We're going to farm down, and at this point, I need to get the shield here with the Fire Punch. It's basically my win condition here. I need to get the Fire Punch shield, and then I need to make it to this Earthquake. And thankfully for us, we do make it to the Earthquake. But is the opponent going to choose to shield it or let it go down? Earthquake coming through. Bang! Kyogre gets taken out. Excadrill in the back. So nothing on this team was something we like to see. I actually decided to go for the Superpower immediately because I cannot afford to bait here and get no shield. We get the Superpower through. Now I'm going for the Rock Slide. This is a mistake right here. Because we had an energy lead, this is actually a winnable matchup. But because I go for the Rock Slide, costing more energy, it means I probably won't make it to this Superpower right here. So we shield this Drill Run, and right there you could see, might have been an overtap, but either way, if I went for the Superpower instead, maybe we would have survived. The debuff really doesn't matter. Here comes Groudon. Can we farm down? Absolutely insane. Farming down an Excadrill with Dragon Tail to take that game. You guys could check out the replay. That Excadrill had more health than we had on the Groudon. We were still able to win with Dragon Tail, which is being resisted. So a pretty crazy win right there. We get rewarded with a very positive lead right here in the form of Melmetal versus Dialga. So going for the Superpower right here. And you know, oftentimes I build it to 100 energy. Lately I've been trying this strategy where I just build it to 2 Superpowers and throw them back to back instead. So before like the Draco meter comes through in between the 2 moves or something. But the opponent actually shielded there, which was pretty interesting. I decided to shield there, and thankfully they go for a Draco meter. So that means this game is still in our favor. If they're running something like Thunder, this could become a somewhat winnable position for them in the 2 shields maybe. But I didn't want to risk it here, so I just went for the Superpower immediately. Didn't want to have to burn another shield here. I'm just going to get rid of this Dialga now, swap out into the Groudon, and preserve this Melmetal. The reason I preserved the Melmetal is because them staying with Dialga using a shield made me think they probably have something else in the back weak to it. And here it is. It's a Togekiss in the back. So we are going for the Fire Punch right here. We are running Dragon Tail, so it's a much worse matchup for the Groudon. Going for another Fire Punch right here against this Togekiss. They're going to let that go through. And guess what? We are actually going to get to a 3rd Fire Punch. So we are about to take out this Togekiss or get the shield. Opponent decides to let the Togekiss go down instead. So at this point, I decide to come in here with the Melmetal because I want to force this Giratina to dump all of its energy and just hope that my own Giratina could close it out in the back. But you know what this means? It's going to come down to a baiting game right here. So building up to the Shadow Ball, we get in the extra move right there. Gonna let this go through, calling the Omnis Wind bait, and we finally get one of the Gambles to go our way. Now at this point, they're forced to shield, even if it is Omnis Wind, they're getting so low. So Omnis Wind comes through, we get the shield, and we actually go for the Shadow Ball. This should be CMP tie, so we're just going to shield this up right here. Shadow Ball going to come through. This is going to be enough to take out the Giratina Origin right here. Bang! There it is, Giratina taken out. We are off to a 3-1 start in the 2nd set. So once again, looking for back-to-back 4-1s right here. 3-1 for Toby in the next matchup. We got Melmetal into Melmetal. So this is the mirror match. And I find that the 13 attack isn't necessarily that big of a deal here in this particular mirror match in the lead spot with shields, but where it really does play a role is at the end game or in situations where the opponent has like a Giratina with 15 attack. We actually lose CMP to Giratina Origin, so that's pretty bad. Opponent swaps out into Garchomp here, so I decide to come in with the Groudon, and I let that move go through, which is another, look, like, that's all we do here. All we do is try and call baits on this channel, and we're always wrong. So Fire Punch gets the shielder, which is huge. We needed that to have any chance of remaining competitive in this game right here. So at this time, I decided to come with the Melmetal, go for the Superpower, either get the 2nd shield or take out the Garchomp. They decide to let it go down, but I came in a bit too early. So actually we switch locked here for a bit, and I'm praying I could swap out here into the Giratina. Able to do it at the last second. That is super clutch. Catching the Omnis win, of course, because the Melmetal was in the range of that. And now the opponent swaps out into the Melmetal. We are loaded on energy. Gonna let this first one go through probably because it's only a rock slide. We survive that. Go for the Shadow Ball right here. See if the opponent wants shield. Of course, the pressure is on them because they are the ones who are down a shield here. So the first Shadow Ball goes through. Able to get to the second right here. This is huge for us. This is going to take out the Melmetal if they do not shield, which they decide not to do. Giratina coming back in. Both our Pokemon are extremely low here, but our Melmetal is loaded on energy. So I decide to swap out here. I want to get off 3 rock slides here. I need to get the shield as well as getting the damage low enough to the point where Giratina could come back in and win this game. Rock Slide gets the second shield. Can we get to one more? Yes, we can, but they're getting a lot of energy here from farming us down. The Giratina Origin is going to have to come in. We still have the shield for the Giratina, but can we farm down their own Giratina before they get to another move? We are ahead in health. Here comes the Omnis win. No boost, please. Of course, they get the boost, but we're still able to take them down, winning that game. Absolute insanity there at the end. We go 4-1 in back-to-back sets. Really enjoy this team. Highly recommend it for anyone looking to rank up. So those were the battles in the Master League Classic, featuring this team consisting of a Melmetal lead, Dragon Tail Groudon operating as a safe switch, and Giratina Origin in the back. This is a very solid team, and I did use it some more after these battles got all the way back up to 2900. So I definitely think this team could help you if you're looking for a team to use in the Master League to rank up. Try and make that final push for Legend rank in Season 8. Once again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I'm always very happy to discuss Pokemon Go with my viewers. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.